Crushing the meta.
Big welcome to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, and I'm D-Boy. I'm here for you guys with a deck profile, and this time it would be on Spike Brothers, especially Rising Star, so the card from the set 13. A lot of people have been asking me this, like, how would you build up the deck, or what are the cards that you want to put in, how would the deck look like? And because of that, because we don't have set 13 out yet in the TCG, I just printed the cards out and proxy them and tried to play and build up the deck. And this is the build that I've come up with for now, but the build will change in the upcoming weeks. But because some of you really wanted to see this, I wanted to just make the video and talk a little bit about the deck and a little bit about my choices and how, or the play style that I will be playing this deck. Also, I will be doing some matches on area later on this week, and I will definitely put them for you guys also to watch and enjoy. So for the deck list, I run 4 copies of Giant Star. First, I will just go fast through the deck, and after that I will explain the skills and also the choices. So 4 Giant Star, and then 4 Jelly Beans for the grade 3s. Playing 8, of course. I don't really like 7. For the grade 2 lineup, playing 3 copies of Razor and 3 Mayhem Tigers, followed up by 2 Lethal Forwards and 1 Axe Diver, and I'm playing only 1 Cheetah and 1 Mason. For the grade 1, 4 Cutting Brain, Perfect Guards, then only 3 Stride Fallers, 3 Froggies, 2 Bomber, 1 Eliza and 1 Tier. For the trigger lineup, playing of course 4 Deadly Heals, because Jelly Beans. And playing 7 crits, or 7 draw, and 5 crit. Being 4 Liar Lips and 1 Silent Joker. And the starter is in this deck still Mega Trainer. Then for the G Zone, let's start up with the G Guardians. Of course, you still want to run 3 copies of Linus, and then I'm running 1 or 2 copies of the new G Guardian. So it's up to you to run any of these. In my opinion, there is no reason to run the maximum anymore because of Giant Star GB2 skill, so you don't really need him anymore, so this card will go away. Then it's up to you to play Irie. The nice thing about Irie is that sometimes you don't have 3 cards with different grades in your drop zone, and you really don't want to waste something from your soul to put it back to your deck, and that's when Irie come in handy. But I think in most decks you will want to play 2 copies of him because this card is really good. It puts cards from the drop zone or soul back to your deck with 3 cards and with different grades, so you could also put triggers. And after that, he get an extra 10k shield. So he is, in my opinion, better than Irie, and I will think that I will play 2 copies of him. So that would be like this: 3 Liners and 2 copies of him. Then for the Elemental G Guardians that you are playing, of course you still play the 1 Desmiel and 1 Drop and Draw. I do like them, and of course because I also play Tier, that's why I like them. You could also play 1 copy of him and add 1 more Elemental G Guardian. That's always nice with your Tier. That sometimes with your Linus you flip a Guardian, which is a Elemental, so you have more face-up cards in your G Zone that are Elementals. But there is no other G Guardian Elemental that I would like to play. I could put him at 2, but yeah, I just like having more options in my deck. Therefore, these strides, of course, you play 1 Seabreeze and 1 Merendol. I still like to play this card in here because it's a Elemental and I play Tier, and because it doesn't cost you a Counterblast as a first stride. Then now we come up to the options that you have. So you could still play Miracle Ace or Supernova, but of course you do play the Agrius. These cards that you have in here, it really depends on the way that you want to play the deck. I like Supernova, but if I would play him, I would put him at least at 3. And I really don't have the third place for him. I only have place for 2. There is, in my opinion, I talked about this before, no reason to play Miracle Ace anymore in this deck. There is no easy way to get up your charging going. The only way that you could do that is by on placing the Giant Star or on placing the Axe Diver, which is something that you really don't want. And also getting the Frog Raider to the field is something that is not that easy, because you don't have Rising skill anymore. You have Giant now, and Giant Star calls only charging unit. So I would not play him anymore, so I would take him out. It's really... I know that most of you guys would think, well, but he is so good. And yeah, I agree. But he costs you Counterblast 2, and Dirty Picaro costs you Counterblast 2. So I would rather go for Picaro than go for Miracle Ace. And that would leave you with 2 copies of Star and 2 copies of Agrius, or 4 copies of Agrius, which is the thing that I will go with. So I will play him at 4, and I will play the 2 Dirty Picaro as always, and the 1 Hard 8. I think that I would do it like this, playing 4 copies of him, 2 Picaros and 1 GB8. So Hard 8s, you could play him at 2 if you want to, but I think 1 is more than enough. The 2 Dirty Picaros are very, very, very necessary in this deck. You could go into him and then get Tear out and get your counter charges back. Also, your Silent Jokers could, or you play only 1 Silent Joker, could counter charge, and also your heal triggers, they could also counter charge. So still be able to go into him twice sometimes. And of course Agrius at 4. The first time you stride into him, you do get some pressure and you draw an extra card, but the second time you go into him, that's when you will get the full potential. Or maybe sometimes you G-guard first and then you go into him. That could also work. The good thing about him is it's the same as Miracle Ace. Miracle Ace, what's good about Miracle Ace is that he puts some of your charge units back to your deck before you go to the GB8, and he could do the same. Call the units from your hand, bind them, call them back, charge them, and then they go back to the deck. So definitely a very, very, very good card. So yeah, as I said, 4 copies of him, 2 Picaros and 1 GB8, 1 Mirandol, 1 Seabreeze, 1 Mirandol, 1 Seabreeze, and then you go into the G Guardian, which you play 7. Playing the Crane Elementals, put him at 2 or at 1, and then you have 1 space to play anything you like, and then Linus at 3. So that's actually it for the deck. That's how I would like to play it or test it out. If we go back to the trigger lineup, of course, the reason why you play Lyre Lips is because she makes a great column with the Frog Raider, and also when you go into the GB8 turn, she gives the extra 10k for your Frog Raider as well. And it's always nice to have her on the field. You attack with her, even with Agrius. Attack with her with anything behind her. Just hit the 9k column or the 11k column and kill the Vanguard or attack the Vanguard. Pressure them a little bit. Then with Agrius, as she goes into the soul, you draw a card, and the unit that boosted her, you could just leave in the bind zone. So that could also work. I do like Lyre Lips a lot. I do understand that people want to play Silent Joker more now because he works better with Giant Star, but I still like the Lyre Lips a lot. And also because she's on SP, and I will definitely, when I make this deck, I will put the SPs in here. For the draw triggers, the Dudley draw triggers, of course, which has the skill or have the skill go into the soul plus 30k. They could be very nice with your Frog Raider to make him 10k. With some units, like attacking units, with they could make a better columns, but most cases that doesn't really matter a lot. Or maybe if your Vanguard has a Vanguard base, which is a 13k or a 12k, then that would make a difference. Playing the 7 draws, I've also tried the 8 draws. It does work very, very, very good. You could also play the 6 draw and the 6 crit if you want to, but I do really want to play more draws than crits. And the reason why all of us now are playing the Lioness is because it's a Fox, and both of them are Fox or Lioness, Linux, I mean. And of course, for the heals, you play the Dudley ones because you search them out with your jelly beans. The reason why I still play tier is that the deck worked really good as the Dirty Picaro turn. The Dirty Picaro combo that you could do with Giant Star, with the Razor, and with the Fake Bomber is a very, very, very good combo, but it costs you 1 counterblast for each 2 attacks. 1 counterblast for each 2 attacks and 2 cards from hand. So 1 counterblast, 2 cards in hand is 2 extra attacks. And that's just crazy. But by having him, calling him behind the Vanguard and get the counter charges back, you will open up a whole new attacking possibilities. So the tier does help out a lot. Also because you don't really rely on Mayhem Tiger a lot anymore, and because you soul charge a lot with your Giant Star and Razor, and you have a very good draw power engine, and you have a lot of draw triggers in your deck, you could always put those into your soul and get more attacks out. That's why tier, in my opinion, is still so good, and I would not play the deck without him. So that's why I have 1 in here. Eliza, on the other hand, is a card that you could definitely take out, because she only binds and call. The skill of her, the bind and call skill, is good in the GBA turn, because that will stack an extra 10k on the Frog Raider, and she is good for the triple Mayhem Tiger attack. But because now we have Fake Bomber, you don't really need her anymore. Fake Bomber could call extra Razor from your hand. It could call a Giant Star from your hand. It's like the Mayhem Tiger or the Hive Maker. So the Hive Maker on the same column with Mayhem Tiger is really, really perfect. But the problem with him is he costs your card from your hand. And sometimes you want just to go defensively, and you really just want to pay the counterblast for the extra attack, but do not want to put more cards from your hand out there, and that's when Eliza will be better. So that's the difference between these two. It's the same with the Razor and Lethal Forward. So we have Lethal Forward, which is the same as Eliza, and we have Razor, which is the same as Fake Bomber. They cost your card from your hand to be able to activate the skill, and they don't cost you anything to activate their skill. So that's actually the biggest difference between the two. You play Eliza only at 1 because she doesn't really work with Giant Star. Could work with Giant Star, but mostly couldn't really work with the Razor. With Giant Star, she could do, I would say, a nice little combo, Counterblast 2 combo. But most of your combos cost you Counterblasts, and that's why the tier is very important. And at the same time, the Fake Bomber is also very important because you need at least 1 in your deck to be able to do the big combo, and that's why people now are playing him at 3 and taking the Eliza out and don't really play tier anymore, is because he does help out a lot to get your counter blasts back, or to get the counter charges. And because I play tier, I have him at 2. Otherwise, you will definitely play him at 3. The thing is, you could get him out. He does work with Agrius. He works with all of your strides. But tier works only with Dirty Picaro. And of course, he could work with the GB8. And then, of course, the 3 Frog Raiders. You do need him more than ever. Also, you can't get him out. only your Mega Trainer will search him out, and after attacking with one of your units with Horde 8 skill, you could get him out, but you could not get him out any other way, because all of your units call something with charge ability or lethal forward should maybe hit, and that's when you could also call the Frog Raider. But yeah, but you would not play him at 4. 3 is more than enough. Also, because of the new G Guardian, you could always put him back from the drop zone back to your deck. 3 Stride Fodders, of course, I will switch them out for the SPs when the whole deck come out. I find 3 good enough. I don't see myself riding into the Jelly Beans a lot, or ever till now. I've been testing like for only 2 weeks, so I don't see myself riding the Jelly Beans, and I don't really see myself needing an extra Stride Folder, because the Jelly Beans always go back to your deck and you could drive check them again, and they go back to your deck and you drive check them again, which is very good actually, because normally in this deck you will run out of Stride Folders, and Jelly Beans in that case is very, very good and very effective. So for now, only 3. You could always take the Eliza or the Tear out to put the 4th one in here, but I would not take the Fake Bomber out. Leave him at least at 2 if you play Razor. And then for Cutting Brain, this card is amazing. Try to guard with it as much as you can if you don't really need to waste your heals, and if you can't get to GB8. So it depends if you want to go to Dirty Picker or not. And having him in the drop zone, you bind him. For every bind Cutting Brain, you get one of your units an extra 10k. But that's amazing. Just put the extra 20k or just 10k on the Frog Raider, especially in your stride turn, is really, really good. This is also a part of the Pick Roll combo that you could do now to power up the Frog Raider and to be able to attack multiple times with, as I said, 1 Counter Blast, 2 cards from hand, would mean that you could also 2 Soul Blast, but that's, you get the soul back. So 2 cards from hand, 1 Counter Blast is 2 more attacks. So yeah, a card from hand and half a Counter Blast for an attack. Actually, that's the way it is. I play 1 Mason. You could take this out to put the 10Ks in here. I don't really see a reason to play the 10Ks. I like Mason more. Mason have the hit pressure. Mason would mean that even staying at grade 2 is not bad. He could still, he does a lot. And Mason is a very, very, very good card because he puts your draw triggers into your soul and he gets you units that you do not or cannot get without rising skill. And that would mean the flaw of Giant Star is that he can't get the Frog Raider, and Mason, when he hits, he could get you the Frog Raider that you need. But he does more than that, of course. You could always activate him or even use him in the late game, having him on the field, boosting him by the Frog Raider as your first attack. He still had the hit pressure that he has in the early game. He does have that as well in the late game. So I do really like Mason a lot, and it is my favorite card of the whole game. So I will definitely, I'm very happy that we play now the Jelly Beans, and that's why that I could get the Mason to my hand. And also the reason that I could go back to 10 grade 2s because I play 11 now, and could cut out like a lethal forward to put a second Mega Trainer in here, or a Fake Bomber or an extra grade 3. But yeah, for now I'm testing it like this, but I think that I could go back to only 10 grade 2s because the Jelly Beans search up your Mason. 1 Cheetah, you could put her at 2 or him, whatever it is, but I like it at 1. I think that this card is very good with the Agrias turn, and it could do some crazy things with the Axe Diver, but because you play less Axe Divers and you don't really combo them very, very well. But the thing is that Cheetah and the Lethal Forward are the cards that you could combo very good with the Axe Diver. So these 4 cards are the cards that it's up to you to put anything you want in here. You could also put him at 4. So you could play 4 copies of the Razor, and then 2 copies of Cheetah, and as I said, take the other grade 2 out to put the Mega Trainer in here. It really depends on what you want to play. I do like the Lethal Forward Axe Diver combo a lot, but otherwise I would play 3 on 2 or 3 on 2. But how I play it right now is I like to have at least 1 Axe Diver in my deck, because he does a lot by just calling him, binding one of your units, getting him back. Especially with your GB8 turn, he is an extra attack, so that's also very good. Cheetah is good to have at 1. Sometimes you don't really want to put too many cards from your hand into the field, so Cheetah will help you out to get an extra draw and 1 less card that you have to remove for Agrius. So you can always get her out with your Giant Star skill, so that's why I play only 1. On the other hand, Lethal Forward is a card that you could call from your hand, so you don't waste a Counterblast on him. Call him from your hand, attack with him, boosting by anything, and with Agrius, when he attacks, you bind it and you call it back. He will be 11 by himself, which putting triggers on him would be very good. Boosted by the Eliza or the Fake Bomber or whatever you have behind him, could make good combos. Could always get the Cheetah out by him hitting, could always get the Axe Diver by him hitting. It's a very good hit pressure, and of course very good for your GB8 turn. The only card that gives you advantage in the GB8 turn is actually Lethal Forward and Axe Diver in this deck. Cheetah could give you advantage, but only by playing the Axe Diver. So that's the reason I still want to play the Twin Brothers, as I like to call them. But I could also play 1 and play 1 more Mega Trainer if needed. Or add 1 more Razor. Razor is another important key piece in the combo that you do with Picaro, which I could show you later. And that's why you play him at least at 3. You do need actually to put him at 4, but I'm keeping him at 3 for now. And that's because I also want to play at least the 3 Mayhem Tigers. Mayhem Tiger is still a very good finisher, especially with the way that you soul charge a lot now. So that's why I play him. Then of course the Giant Star at 4. It's your main grade 3 that you want to go into. And Jelly Beans, who helps you out to get the Mason and to get your heal triggers to your hand. So that's actually it for the deck. Tell me what you think about the deck as I made it right now. Tell me what you would do, or do you really want to play no lethal, no Cobalt Impulse, and just go out there and try to finish your opponent off on your second stride, and have like the first stride's only there for to draw and plus up your hand, but no pressure on your opponent? I do still like to put some pressure on my opponent. Especially with the Lethal Forward, that he could always get your Cheetah out or get your Axe Diver out. So I do really like the Lethal Forward a lot. Especially that people sometimes get confused by calling him without charging him, and you attack with him, and they would think, oh, maybe there is a trick behind this, and they would guard it. And then Agrius will attack and get it back to your field, and then it's charging and then it has the hit pressure, so it's a bit confusing for your opponent. And that's the good thing about Spike, it still confuses your opponent a lot. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. As I said, if you really want to know the big combo on Dirty Picaro that you could do in this deck, I could also explain that. But mostly I do really wanted to wait till I get the full combos out and I know more about the new Spikes. So I really want to test the deck a little bit more, and from there I could show you the last or the finished deck profile. But I think that would take like a week or 2 for me to get the new cards, because they are not out yet. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and till next time.